Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Dr. Mac here, Mac's Garden Style. And you know what? I recently went to Chelsea. And while I was at Chelsea, I saw some absolutely magnificent flowers. And one of the flowers that I saw that impressed me the most was this. And this is a Protea, some magnificent flower from South Africa. It is, you almost say that is a shrub's flower because the plant is a bit woody. But I want to show it to you. And the display won gold at Chelsea. This flower comes from the Cape Town region around South Africa. And I was so in love with it. I went and I said, let me find a vendor here in the United Kingdom who has Protea. And it took me a little while. But I did find a vendor that carries this magnificent flower. And it is a unique flower, and I will admit that it is very unique. It is a different kind of flower. It's not what you see every day. It comes from South Africa. And I wanted to do a beautiful display with the centerpiece being Protea. Went to a wholesaler and I said, okay, what's the best looking Protea they have? This is it. It's very heavy. And I want to build a centerpiece around this. I picked up a lot of different pieces. Set this to the side. Picked up a lot of different pieces, but I wanted to stick with the theme. And the colors that I was able to pull off of this is a magnificent burgundy. There's a bit of white at the tips, and it fades into a beautiful pinkish color. And I said, okay, I really just want to complement this Protea. How do I do it? The first thing that jumped out at me was right here. And this is a nice accent piece. I was building one step at a time. But I knew that whatever I made had to have this in it. Look at these beautiful berries. And they carry over that very same color. They carry over that burgundy color, and it just fades into that pink, and you have pink fading down to white. So this is definitely going in. Of course, you can see here, I have some magnificent chrysanthemums. Also, along that same family line, that same color, pulling in a beautiful, dark, rich burgundy. And with that, I went and I bought this vase because I knew that it would also tie in well. But I felt as though I needed a bit more foliage to pull this overall design together. And so I was on the hunt for something that would give me the right look, and I think I found it. Lucidendron here, and it's just a beautiful burgundy color foliage that ties it all together. And I said, you know what, this is what I want to start with, going into the vase first. Another woody type stem. Gonna need my bypass cutters for that. So this is actually nice and woody. And so this overall design is going to be a bit different than some other designs you may have seen. It's not going to be as lightly floral. I'm going to kind of mess that up a little bit. You have some flowers blended in, and it is going to be a bit woody. But I think it's going to come together and produce something magnificent. I've been to Cape Town, South Africa. It's one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been, and that was why I wanted to really bring in this Protea into everything that I'm producing here. I wanted that color, that same coloration, that same design. I wanted to highlight this very unique flower that you really don't see outside of South Africa. So I was really impressed when I saw the South African team bring that to Chelsea. It's a little long. Just kind of mess it up a little bit. It's getting a nice ragged because that allows it to draw up a bit more moisture. I have a video where I interviewed that South Africa team on the channel, and you can go and check that out if you get that opportunity. I also, have a couple other videos where I just kind of cover more of just my overall Chelsea experience. And it was a wonderful time. This is my first time at Chelsea. It is truly one of the absolutely best flower shows that I've ever gone to. And I've been to a lot of different flower shows, but Chelsea was just something that I felt was really unique. Never been to one that was just that. It was posh, and that is what it's intended to be. But the growers, the floral designers, they bring their very best work to Chelsea. Just don't want any leaves that's going to be down into the water. Strip some of these leaves off. And this, I wanted to be in this vase. I picked this particular vase because it has this wide opening at the top, but I want this to kind of explode up out of the vase, starting with this V pattern. So that's the base of it right there, starting with this V pattern either side, and it's going to explode up out of there. Now, to tie the coloration in even more, I had the opportunity to pick up this wax flower also on the woodier side. You can kind of get to see what the theme is here with this overall floral design. And I feel as though it's appropriate because, as I mentioned, Protea is a bit of a it's a very hard flower bloom. It's not soft. I think it's going to hold for a really long time in the vase. But I wanted to get this wax flower. I like this one a lot because what it brings in is it picks up that white that's at the very top of the Protea. But those unopened blooms of the wax flower carry that burgundy forward. And that's a coloration that I really want to continue. Really focusing in on that burgundy. Also, I want this wax flower to be somewhat different heights. You can kind of see blending in here. Somewhat a little taller, somewhat a little shorter. The very fragrant, shrubby type bloom here. I want to just put just a little bit into disperse. There we go. Kind of break that up a little bit. Don't want it to be too one note there. So break that up a little bit. Some of that wax flower mixed in. Just kind of interdisperse that. Just kind of get in there. There we go. It's really beautiful here. And I want to go around because I'm building a ring. That's my lower level. And I have a couple other burgundy notes as well. And I know normally this time of year, very summer, you wouldn't go for this much burgundy, but these are the flowers that I felt best complemented the Protea. And if you ever get your hands on some Protea seeds, I was talking with some of the growers from South Africa. They likely will not sprout for you because the seeds need to go through a cycle of smoke, heat potentially, before they sprout. There's one of those type of plants. And this wax flowers just going in really well. This is what I wanted it for, just to kind of fill in some of this gap space. And you can see this is going to be a different kind of floral design. mostly woody plants. Just kind of interspersing that. There we go. Holding that center open because I know exactly what I want in that center. That is the Protea. Now I had one more foliage, and that's a very classic eucalyptus. Not surprising at all. The thing about this eucalyptus is this is a very fragrant bouquet already. It smells so much. This foliage has a strong smell to it. But I love adding eucalyptus because your bouquet actually takes on a great scent when you add in eucalyptus. But here I really wanted to add in eucalyptus because I wanted to use that silvery, there we go, foliage, that leaf color. It also breaks up the shapes a little bit because we have kind of very narrow pointed flowers so far. I just wanted to break that up. This eucalyptus is going to help break up the shapes. The wax flower has a very narrow leaf. And so this eucalyptus going in is going to add a bit more depth and texture. There we go. As I mentioned, because this is a lot of woody type shrubs, you know, really tough stems, I think this is going to hold up for a very long time in a vase. I think it's going to last for quite a while. I'll see how long I get out of it. But I think I'm going to have a wonderful experience with this very fragrant bouquet that I will be able to enjoy for well over a week. I think it's definitely going to last for well over a week. I don't think I have any issue with that. We're heading into 2 weeks on this one, easily. But just moving this eucalyptus in, going around, don't want to get it side by side, but just kind of opening it up and adding in that touch of texture, really breaking it up. There we go. And just kind of working the way all the way around. Get that in there. I want this to look good from all sides, and I always design for all the way around. Most of my displays sit on the center of tables, and so they're viewed from all sides, all the way around. That's definitely a way that I design. So I think this is good. Here on this eucalyptus, I want to get one more piece in. This piece, get that in there. That's a bit more upright, but I think that's great. It's coming together really well. Now, I want to add in these chrysanthemums because we have a lot of the foliage in. I have a bit of eucalyptus left. If I need to add that, I will, but I'm going to set that to the side. I want to now get some of these chrysanthemums in because I want to tie in and start to bring in some of the blooms. Right now, the only thing we have in here that's blooming is the wax flower. And so it's a lot of foliage. Okay, that's great. But I really wanted to, again, limit the amount of flowers that are added so that I can ensure that that Protea is the star of the show. Every flower that's added should be complementary. And it's chrysanthemums, which almost look like a dahlia bloom. Beautiful burgundy, rich coloration here. Really cleaning these stems up. It's magnificent color. When I saw it in the wholesale, I said, that's it. This, there were other flowers that were there, even other chrysanthemums that were in the burgundy family in coloration, but I knew that this one was absolutely the one to go with. It's such a deep, rich color. And it ties in, really ties in that texture that I was looking for, that color that I was looking for. And just kind of, you can see as those burgundy blooms are just starting to peek out of the sides. Let me get that in there. There we go. Got to find that opening. Oh, yeah, there we go. Perfect. That burgundy just peeking out of the sides there. I will have a couple of these that I will leave longer, and I'll let those stand up towards the center. But just make sure all the way around, breaking it up. There we go. It's beautiful. We'll come back into the interior a little bit here. There we are. And again, I was definitely aiming for a variation of height. The Protea stands very tall and erect. And so I want the foliage to fall away to the sides, allowing that Protea to stand tall and erect. And the eye will flow from the side straight up to the Protea in the center. And I wanted the chrysanthemums to, for the most part, sit lower in the vase than the Protea. But one or two of them could be a little higher. I think having separations and variances in height really adds depth to your bouquet. It really ties it all together. You want the eye to be able to flow around and up and down. I also like there to be notes of color that as you look deeper in, you say, oh, wow, okay, I really see, I didn't see that bloom before. So I do believe that tucking some of those in deeply works well. And so we have kind of chrysanthemums slashing there through the middle. You only have two more of those to add. Just a joy to be able to get a burgundy chrysanthemum at this time of year. There we are. Oh, I lost the head, and that happens. That head broke off. That happens. You try to be careful with these flowers, but you know, I can float this in some water. I can float that in water, but it's not going to make it into the bouquet, unfortunately. This means here's my last one. Yeah, that is beautiful. There we go. Just finding a space. Oh, that is wonderful. That is beautiful. So where are we going next? Adding in the pops of color with these beautiful berries, which this is a completely different shape than everything else in this bouquet. And I don't mind if they sit lower or if some of them even slightly hang over that edge a little bit. Another woody stem. I actually want them to sit very low around that exterior. One of the things that should never be underestimated is the amount of leaf cuttings that come off when you're building a bouquet like this. Let's turn this around. Now, there we go. Just kind of so I can see. There we are. But yeah, these are going mostly low around the outside. I may do one or two a bit deeper in. But I bought these to break up coloration. There we are. And break up the texture. This is such a beautiful texture added in. And this whole bouquet to me, considering how sharp those petals are on the Protea, to me the whole thing is about getting shape, texture, and the eucalyptus was all about adding in that color, bringing the color up a bit. And that was the joy of adding the eucalyptus. But I want to tuck one or two of these into the center. Just let them hang in there. Just so they're not all around the outside. Again, the idea is that as you look deeper into the bouquet, you see things that you didn't see upon that first look, that first glance. And again, I always like to do maybe one that is a little taller than the rest. But for the most part, this has so much height on it that even when I do that taller one, it still falls down. Okay, now here we are. This is the bouquet so far. And I'm happy with where it is. I like the fact that the eucalyptus is falling over. I wish I had a little bit more of a plant that draped over the edge of the rim to kind of give me a bit more depth. I may move in a couple more pieces of eucalyptus to break up the edge of the vase. But as you're looking through here, as I look across it, I'm seeing different textures all the way through. And that's what I want. So now let's add the star of the show. Let's get this Protea in here. Again, a very woody stem. Break that up on the end. I only have 3 of these, so they're going to go really into that center. Working that in. I don't want them to stand too high above, but like right there, that's perfect. So think a bit of a triangle pattern. Very woody stem, so you're going to need some really sharp shears, heavy weight to get through there. And let's just kind of work that in. Again, not too tall above everything else, but standing just slightly above. There we are. 1, 2. And we're going to come back across on the other side with the 3rd. Now, this 3rd I feel is a little too high. I want to take that down just a little bit more. Take that down a little more, just a little too high. This is definitely a bouquet that I would love to repeat in the fall, deeper into the season. I think it will look magnificent. And here we are. I want to get a bit of space in between that Protea. There we go. And this is it. Beautiful. Really a fall coloration, but highlighting the Protea, which stands tall in the center, very vertical. I could come back again and add a bit more eucalyptus around the sides. Like this side is just a bit more upright. So now just feed this in. A bit more texture. And just kind of spinning it around, looking for a place where this eucalyptus could fit in. There we are. Here's Definitely a place to get this last one in here. And so with the Protea now in the vase, there is one more burgundy bloom that I wanted to add in. And it's a bit of a repeat of the berries, but I just thought that from a texture standpoint, there's a darker purple than the berry, but it ties in that burgundy a bit more. And I just want to get a few of these in, working them down in here. I just thought that this would be a nice little addition just to get a few of these tucked in. There we are. And I think the colors are very complementary to the wax flower. Don't want very many of these in here, but just kind of get that in. There we go. It's a very upright display, very vertical. But I just think that these would blend in so well around. I'm going to the exterior here with some of these next to the other berries. So you get that quick color change and that quick contrast between the two. Just a couple notes worked in. There we are. That's really pretty. I think this just adds just that extra little pop of color. I really wanted to stick really deeply and strongly with that burgundy. Didn't want to vary too far away. If there was maybe a pink berry, a berry that was a little more pink, there was a bit of variance there, maybe I would have gotten some of those. I realize now that could have added a bit more of a color change, pop to it, but I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. I think that's it. All right, and then this should be the last one. In between these two Protea right here. Just kind of work that in. That's going to definitely be down below the waterline. That's good, perfect. And there we are. So, hey, this is my bouquet that I feel as though is a wonderful display, highlighting the Protea in the center, the beautiful burgundy chrysanthemums, the wax flower, tying in that coloration as well. Drop down in the comments, tell me what you think about it. Is it so fragrant because it's so woody and you're getting this fragrance, this eucalyptus, and the wax flower has a bit of a scent to it as well. The Protea doesn't have a smell, but this is the display. Let me know what you think. Drop down in the comments and tell me how you feel about it. I'm very pleased. Until next time, take care.